So first of all, everyone, hello. I do survival and bushcraft, so that's a lot of wilderness skills, forest skills. I spend a lot of time in the outdoors. I've been to some beautiful places around the UK and internationally as well. So it's all about connecting people to nature and the outdoors and bringing in a bit of environmental awareness through these bushcraft skills. And it's a never-ending subject, you know, that's what I love about it. There's always something new to learn in bushcraft. So this is a tree, but can anyone identify what type of tree it is? You can just about see the white bark.
Is that a silver birch?
Way, yes, very good everyone, it's silver birch. So it's a very distinctive tree, and what's great about silver birch for bushcraft is you can use the bark as tinder, it's paper-like, and also it's a medicinal tree. So around springtime, around late March, for about 3 weeks, the silver birch will produce a sap, and it'll produce a water. It tastes like lemonade, it's high in vitamin C, it's very good for you. Now take a look at this. So we got here some corporate logos. Now how many of those logos do you think you might recognize? 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, you know? Quite a few of them, right? Now take a look at these leaves. How many of these leaves do you think you can identify? You know, I work with many young people and they know Nike, they know McDonald's, they know this. You ask them what holly leaf is and they've got problems there. So, but it's the 3,000 to 5,000 adverts per day that we're subjected to, you know, and it's a lot of it is false information, you know. For example, the beautiful dandelion, the thing, that plant that we are influenced to believe is a weed, it's actually a medicinal plant, folks. I'm sure some of you are aware of this, right? But Monsanto is telling us it's a weed, that we need to kill it. Actually, it's a medicinal plant. It's high in nutrition. It's very, very good for you. You can use it for salad. It's edible. Now, I also work for a fantastic organisation called the Woodland Trust. I hope some of you have heard of it. We are the UK's leading woodland conservation charity. We look after trees and woodlands in the UK, and we are standing up for their rights. You know, it's trees, they're important to us and we need to take care of them. Out of our 13% woodland cover in the UK, 2%, under 2% is ancient woodland, and once it's gone, folks, that is it. Ancient woodland is an irreplaceable habitat. So Woodland Trust, we're campaigning to up the rights of these habitats. We've got historic buildings that have got more rights than these ecosystems. We also give out free trees to schools, to communities, and this is our way of connecting young people to the outdoors by getting them to tree plant. In many different tribal cultures around the world, when a child is born, they will plant a tree, and the child and the tree grow up together. It's a beautiful connection to the natural world. And, you know, we're trying to stop this initially. We see this all around the world, in the Amazon, in Borneo, in the Congos of Africa. It's happening here, folks, with our ancient woodland. So we protect woodlands, we restore ancient woodlands, we create woodlands, and we also campaign for their survival. So right now you've got developments like HS2 happening. This is the high-speed rail. It's going to cut through 98 ancient woodlands, and they were going to cut through the Chilterns. This is an area known for the natural beauty there, but power to the people. We have strength in numbers, right? So we kind of shouted about that whole Chilterns thing. We got them to make a tunnel underneath, which is great, but it's like if we hadn't have come together under this platform and said no, it would have just gone straight ahead, you know. Now, anyone ever been to Epping Forest on the east side of the central line? Yeah, it's beautiful. 80% of the ancient beech trees in the UK exist there. Do you see faces in the trees? Because I always see faces in the trees. I can totally see them here. And this symbol, folks, this is the tree of life. So this represents the perpetual sustainability of all physical life and humanity. So that's the Kabbalah there that symbolizes the tree of life on the right. I mean, trees, you know, what do they do for us? They help us to breathe. That's a big one. The Amazon rainforest alone produces 20% of the oxygen that is supplied to planet Earth. So we're talking trees, folks, and let me show you some beautiful trees. So this is the Borthorpe Oak near Bourne in Lincolnshire. It's predicted to be over 1,000 years old, this oak tree. And this is a beautiful tree in Italy. It's a 900-year-old olive tree in Sardinia. This is the Fortingal yew in Perthshire in Scotland. You can see estimated between 2,000 and 3,000 years old. It's a beautiful yew tree. One of the oldest living organisms in the world is the bristlecone pine, which is found in California, and that's predicted to be 4,845 years old. So, an even older specimen tree was discovered in Norway, the Norway spruce. So that's almost 10,000 years old. These trees, they will outlive us all. What are these trees? Yeah, I so want to go. Yeah, I so want to go and hug one, don't you? It'd probably take about 40 people to hug one of those trees, but they are the tallest trees in the world. They are the sequoias, the redwoods found in California, reaching heights of about 300 feet. That's 91 meters. And look at this one. I mean, this one is 115.7 meters long, and it was discovered in 2006. So this is a tree that was cut down in the 1800s, and it was over a bet. One of the lords thought he would bet to make a table that could fit 40 people. Well, yes, it did, but this tree was over 5,000 years old that they cut down. But on a positive note, cloned saplings have been taken from this tree, and in the Eden project they are growing it again, so its heritage will live, luckily. So that's a positive note. Now, while we're talking about trees, forests, right? Trees are very social beings. They're like humans. They will still live when they're on their own, but they're a lot happier when they're with other trees. So, I'm not sure if you lot are aware, but we actually have temperate rainforest in the UK. We have got 5 Celtic ancient temperate rainforests, and they're located along the west coast. It's got its own microclimate from the Gulf Stream, so beautiful. This is Wisman's Wood in Dartmoor. If you ever have the opportunity to go, honestly. It is a magical, enchanted forest. And these areas, we need to protect them. They are valuable ecosystems. But where is the tropical rainforest? I mean, tropical rainforests, they're mainly along the equator, right? So you've got the Amazon, you've got the Congo, and you've got Southeast Asia and Australasia. That's where our tropical rainforests are found. Let's go through some facts of tropical rainforests. So we've got more than 50% of all the plants and animals on Earth live in these forests. They absorb harmful pollutants and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, help to stabilize the world's climate, regulating our weather systems. I mean, is anyone else wondering why the heat is rising? We're taking away the trees, Protect against flooding, drought. These ecosystems protect our soil. The UN just put out a message to the world saying we've literally got 50 to 60 years worth of good soil left before we can't harvest anymore. Again, it's because we're taking away these ecosystems. Major source for medicine and food. Most of our medicines come from these forests. And also they support tribal communities and indigenous people who, to me and in my eyes, are the last remaining guardians of these habitats on Earth. Now here we have the concrete jungle, right? So this is Tokyo, everyone. Now, according to a report from the UN published in May 2018, today, around 55% of the world population is living in cities or urban areas, and that is set to go up to 68% in the next coming decades. So we've got this development going on, humans rising, trees declining. I mean, it doesn't really take a maths genius to figure out the path that we're on, everyone. And yeah, I mean, lots of people in these cities growing very, very rapidly. But it's the way we are developing and the way we're consuming, really. I mean, there's a lot of wastage. And when we are born into these societies, we are encouraged. And this is how I grew up. I grew up in London. I grew up in London believing that money was the key to survival. I mean, that's what we're pushed. You need money to survive. You can't live without money. People sacrifice their health for money. And This was the mindset I had when I went traveling. So taking you back about quite a few years ago when I was 19, 20, I went traveling to Indonesia, one of the largest archipelagos in the world, and I found myself on Siberut Island off the coast of Sumatra. And here I met the Mentawai tribe. Now these guys, they were hunter-gatherers. They hunted with blowpipes and bows and arrows, and this was the first time I had ever encountered a culture that did not use money to survive, they used knowledge. And this fascinated me. You know, they had a deep connection to the rainforest, and they were medicine men. They knew of plants that the Western world has not even heard of or discovered yet. And they are the key. They are the key. So here's a culture living self-sustainably, off-grid, without any money. And it kind of took me out of my bubble a little bit. I started to question the information that I was being given, you know? Yeah, you can see here, look, he's wearing Adidas pouch. If that a tribal man wearing Adidas, you know. I also have to say, I introduced didgeridoos to the Mentawai tribe. I'm very proud of that. So humans, right? We are very, very adaptable creatures.